Ooh, a wizard battle royale? Well, don't mind if I do. I, I won. Holy, this game is easy.
Good work out there.
Never mind, I'm just an idiot. Okie dokie, Spellbreak is a game about magical people who do magical things, fighting over magical things because of magical reasons. Or something, I don't know. There's some kind of lore about you being like an Oathbreaker with the edge powers because people are allowed to use magic, but magic is cool, so people who don't use it are losers, and you're not a loser, you're an Oathbreaker. Or something. Each match is like some sort of training exercise that the Oathbreakers are doing, I think? I think that's how they framed it. Seriously though, who plays a battle royale for the plot? No one cares about this, they care about that sweet, sweet gameplay. And I guess maybe the graphics, I don't really know. So before you start playing, you gotta pick a class, obviously. This isn't like one of those normal battle royales where it's just like, you know, grab a gun and drop in. No, no, no. This is high intelligence battle royale. You have to make choices. So anyway, the first class is the Pyromancer, which, like, you know, pretty basic, pretty vanilla. You know, you're capable of fireballs, firewalls, and fireballs. The instant you lock into this class, you go from a 4 to 9, just like that, instantaneous. So far, Pyromancer is the class I've played as most, because I had to level it up in order to unlock an ability I wanted. I found it to be enjoyable, though. The abilities that you get to pair with your Gauntlet feel strong, but not, like, insanely overpowered. Like a direct hit doing damage over time, or immunity to your wall of fire. But not just immunity. No, no, no. If you run into your own wall, you fly. And I could not believe my eyes when I learned about Firefly. Laugh, damn you. Just laugh. Anyway, there's a third ability that's so lackluster that I don't even know what it does, and then the final one turns your fireball from a bomb into a fully fledged cluster charge. It's pretty nifty. And coming up on next is the Toxicologist. Nailed it. The preferred class for people who typically main social media users in other games. The Toxicologist lobs sticky goo for their main attack, and for their spell they chuck their iPhone with Twitter open, generating a cloud of toxicity dragging down anyone caught within. Oh, original jokes. And if a Toxicologist enters their own toxic cloud, they vanish, dipping out of the fight they've started. As you do. I haven't played too much of the Toxicologist, as they aren't really my cup of tea. While their starting ability allows their poison gauntlet to leave like little itty-bitty puddles of poison wherever the toxic spray lands, it feels pretty underwhelming compared to most of the other powers. Not to mention, in a game where everyone can fly, puddle of damage on the ground is not a massive threat. Then there's the Invisibility, which alone is okay, but then the level 3 ability increases damage from your main attack by 75% while invisible. Sounds really good at first, right? But then as soon as you attack, you're no longer invisible. And, you know, it's probably the hardest gauntlet in the game to aim. So, you know, better make that shot count! And then finally they get the ability to throw three poison clouds at once with their spell. Honestly, best level of ability they have, just because it massively increases the area covered, and it can save you from, you know, death by reducing enemy visibility and letting you go invisible. And then there's the Tempest. You do wind stuff, I guess. Your main attack is to, like, throw cool blades of air that can bounce you or others if they hit the ground, and your spell's a tornado that sucks anyone nearby towards the center. So just like a Toxic X, it's kinda all about control. Honestly, they're a really fun class to play, just because you start with the Wind Gauntlet and bouncing yourself around is very fun. And they also, like, you know, they can let you fly up if you run into your own tornado at level 2, and you also, like, you know, you become immune to its pool, but I don't think I've ever remembered to use the tornado, like, flight thing even once in all of my time playing as them, so, you know, it's a good class as long as you remember what they can do. The Conduit. If you've played Infamous, just think of that, but less edgy. That's all it is. And then we have the Frostborn. They're all about being chill and cool. And as such, their main attack is obviously a makeshift sniper rifle because they're the most elite of gamers. They can also glide along trails created by their shots to speed along slightly faster. Their spell is called Flash Freeze, which creates a field around them that slows anyone near them, and if they stay in too long, they become frozen just like my credit card. So, other than skating, the Iceborns gain the ability to highlight targets while they're aiming their little sniper shot, and if they fully charge it, it doesn't cost any mana. So, you know, it's kind of like Widowmaker's ult from Overwatch, but not as useless. They also become immune to damage when casting their ice spell at level 3, and then at level 4, if they overcharge their little sniper shot for half a second after it reaches max charge, it does 35% more damage, so you know, it can just about one-shot a person at full health if they don't have any armor. And then finally, we've got the Stone Skin. This is the class for people who want to hit hard and be hit hard. Their attacks take more mana and are generally harder to land, but oh boy do they do damage. And their spell, Boulder Fall, it's like a big fireball, but a boulder. Oh look, and they can infinitely regenerate armor with their basic attack. Balance! They feel a bit overpowered, so I try not to play as them too much, but when I do, oh boy is it fun. And their level 2 ability lets you do a superhero landing. Like a badass. So the last thing you gotta pick before getting into the game is your talents. You start off with 3 pretty useless ones, so I'm not even gonna like go over them. But by leveling up classes, you can unlock more to equip on everybody. They also all cost a certain amount of points, so you have to manage whether you want 2 weak ones and 1 like really strong one, or maybe 2 strong ones but not a 3rd one, and stuff like that, you know. 3 medium ones, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, they're pretty impactful, and by collecting the scrolls you can find while playing, you level them up for the duration of the match. So, you know, maybe one makes you, like, you know, have slightly lower hovering cost, and then when you collect a scroll, the hovering cost will, like, you know, go down even more. Another scroll will go down a little bit more. Something like that. You get the gist. So when the game starts, you get dropped into a zone on the map that you selected during the intermission. A truly revolutionary concept in Battle Royales. Now, instead of riding on a plane or bus and falling out of it, you can skip right to the good stuff and just fall immediately. Then, you know, once you touch down, plain simple. Loot chests and kill everyone else, unless you're on a team. Don't kill your teammates, there's friendly fire. I learned that the hard way by shooting someone in the back. PSA. You'll get health and armor potions that you can use to replenish said bars when you get hurt, as well as gear that'll give you one of 3 stat boosts. Boots will increase your movement speed, belts will increase your armor, and amulets will increase your max mana. Boots and belts are pretty self-explanatory, but the amulet basically just lets you hover or shoot magic for longer before you have to, like, reload or something. You slap your hands together and you got more magic. That's how it works. The only other important item types are the skills and the gauntlets. Now, the skills are probably the most unique part of the game, as rather than, well, other than magic, obviously, but rather than having, like, you know, shift be sprint or something like that, there's no sprinting. Your boots are the only thing that increase your movement speed. That are your perks. And instead, hitting shift activates your skill. These can range from the insanely useful, like teleportation, flight, and time travel, to literally useless, like a double jump rune that makes you go a little bit higher and then you plummet back down. You can't even jump high and then hover. Nope, it's just jump and then you fall. Yeah. Woo. Personally, my favorite's the Invisibility Rune, because I'm a rat bastard and you can drink potions while invisible. And then you got the Gauntlets. The gauntlets are what you use for your attacks and your spells. I don't know where this accent came from. If you see a gauntlet of your class that's a higher rarity, you can equip it to get a reduced cooldown on spells and more damage. Oh wait, what's this? You have 2 hands? That's right, you can equip 2 different types of gauntlet, allowing you to mix and match your powers, which can lead to some pretty awesome interactions. Like, you know, remember that tornado spell? Well, shoot a fireball into it and boom, fire tornado. Have a firewall, throw some of that toxic sludge on it, and now it's a toxic firewall. You know, shoot ice on that poison cloud and it freezes, which does something. I don't really know what it does, but I guess it makes a barrier. It makes a barrier. Yeah, that's it. Because the point is, having 2 gauntlets opens up a whole new world of strategy and really makes Spellbreak feel like a breath of fresh air in a genre that sometimes feels samey. They also just introduced a 5v5 mode that's called Dominion, which is essentially a King of the Hill with 3 different points. It's alright, but it's obviously not the main draw of the game, not even close. It's like, you know, if Fortnite adds, like, you know, another mode, people are still going to be going there for the Battle Royale. So yeah, the unique mechanics are the main draw, and they make it incredibly fun. I even forgot to, like, you know, give a specific section to the hovering mechanic, which is very awesome. It uses the same kind of energy that your magic blasts do. So, you know, you can, like, kind of, like, hover a little bit, then shoot a blast, or hover a lot, reload, get on top of a wall, then start blasting, whatever. Stuff like that. It's so amazing. That being said, I've experienced a few problems with, like, you know, stuttering, some long times of walking and not much else, which a lot of Battle Royales can suffer from. But because there's no sprint for this one, if you want to have an ability that's not movement-based, then you're kinda, you know, you're just gonna be walking for a while. And I wish the player base was bigger, because sometimes, like, I think the longest I've had to wait for a game is, like, 3 minutes or something. 3-4 minutes, maybe. Which isn't terrible by any means. I've played Overwatch. But it's something. Anyway, overall, I'd say it's a very solid game that I'd recommend trying out if you aren't a fan of, like, you know, the more traditional style Battle Royale games. And, you know, for a final score, I'd give Spellbreak, I'd say 4 out of 5. It's a very good game, obviously not perfect, not close to perfect, and, like, this is also, like, weighted keeping in mind that I am not a super huge fan of Battle Royales. But for what it is, it's good, it's fun, and if you get some friends and hop on it, you'll probably have a good time. Anyway, 4 out of 5, that's all. Goodbye.